Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. My silver price predictions for 2021. This has been an unusual time. You know, every 4 years we have an election. But this past year, 2020, has been quite a contentious election campaign and also an election season. And we've had some unusual events occur that could have potentially rocked the markets. Although, as of the recording of this video, the markets have not really been rocked a whole lot by the recent events that have occurred. But now we have a little bit of closure on the election and what's going to be happening on January 20th with the swearing in of Joe Biden. Notwithstanding, that markets tend to like and enjoy some sort of closure or some sort of calm, I guess, so to speak. And Donald Trump just recently released a statement expressing as such with a smooth transition to the next administration. And how that equates with where the markets are going to be in general, and specifically for precious metals, is I think it's going to set into motion the next phase, which will begin fairly quickly after January 20th. The realities will set in with policies and proposals by Congress that'll be fully controlled by Democrats in both houses and obviously the presidency. And most of us kind of had wondered if this would be the case when we made some of our predictions maybe last year. And I'm making mine now, understanding the new political reality and also the what's been going on and what would have continued to go on no matter who won the election. And what is that very thing? Well, it includes further liquidity, further stimulus, further relief packages, COVID relief packages. It's been happening around the world, and the United States has been the king of spending, and with $7 trillion and the like, and that cannot bode well for the dollar. Now, you have heard me talk about what others have predicted the price of silver to be for this year, 2021, and now I'm going to give my opinion on where I think the price of silver will be in 2021. I'm not going to give an actual date. I'm not going to say by the end of 2021. I'm going to basically give my high. In other words, the figure that I think that silver will peak during the course of the year. That peak could occur within 2 weeks from now, or it could occur during the summer. In fact, I do believe that that peak will probably occur sometime during the summer, and then maybe make its way back down. But as is the case with any of my predictions, I don't take myself that seriously. I do tend to be a little bit more reserved in my predictions and don't make wild predictions for precious metals. But you know, I could be wrong. They could go crazy. They could go parabolic. But likely that's not going to be the case. The stock market has been performing very well in recent days in spite of what's kind of gone on. But I think that's part and parcel to a myriad of different factors. And there's as many complex factors that affect the markets as do precious metal prices. But the key driver of precious metal prices, especially gold, is a dollar index. Gold I see as the ultimate safe haven. It is the ultimate hedge against economic instability. But we may see silver capture some of that this year. I say that somewhat hesitantly because silver has been seen much more as a commodity than as a hedge over the past year. Or over the past, several years, probably 7, 8 years. And silver's uses are so widespread, more versatile now than ever before. And I think that, as well as it's about 60% of silver production goes towards industrial, biomedical, and technological aspects and uses, it is a metal that will continue to diversify itself in that regard. And I believe that the markets see that as a commodity. The duality of silver is a real thing. Do I consider silver as a hedge, as an asset class in that regard, like gold? Yes, I do. I've always felt that, and I still believe that is the case. But we won't really see that occur unless gold really starts to climb up. And we really won't see that until the ratio between gold to silver narrows. And that is why I pay attention to the ratio of gold to silver, because I think it's important, because I think that's going to be the true test, is to see how silver is viewed. If that ratio tightens up substantially, then I think silver can retain itself as that hedge, maybe even on par with gold in that regard, to where it will literally be treasured as a hedge. Now, as money, I see it as a hibernating money. You've heard me talk about this before, but for those who are new, I believe that silver is hibernating money, meaning that it's essentially asleep. Dormant implies that it is basically in a deep, almost a coma-like state. I don't believe that's the case. I believe that if there's any unlikely event of an economic collapse of one sort or another, whether it be in a huge region that cannot be obtained through governments of any sort, and the rebuilding of society after people trade for goods, food, and services, basically different items of value that would be needed, such as toilet paper, deodorant, whiskey, cigarettes, necessities, meat, toilet paper, all sorts of different things. When there is some sort of local government formed or local organization, they will probably want to have it as some sort of fungible asset to trade, and that is where I believe silver could come into play as societies rebuilt, either regionally or nationally or what have you. That's a very unlikely scenario, but more than likely silver will be the first actual monetary metal to be used, I believe, in those kind of situations, even before gold, which is why I call it hibernating money. That being said, well, what about the prices? Well, prices have been predicted since the election and even before for predicting what's going to happen in 2021, anywhere upwards of $100 plus by some people, to others more lower, but still up. Most people think that it's going to go up. I think the lowest I heard was somewhere around $32. And that's kind of where I have been at for quite a while, actually. I've been thinking that it's maybe between $30 and $35 an ounce. Well, I'm going to give a little bit higher number now. And I'm kind of going out on a limb here, and I don't give these numbers for any purpose or any agenda, or whether it's just my feelings and where it's going to go. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and it's okay if I'm wrong. I don't give myself, there's nothing that really gives me any more opinion about silver than anybody else. I have no inside information, just basically what I've seen, as I do keep up with the news and what's going on in the country and also around the world, and the drivers that push the prices for gold and silver. And so I think that based off of what we have seen and what we are seeing and getting closer and closer, I believe, to a hyperinflationary state, or an inflationary state that's getting a little bit out of control, and other factors, I think we're going to continue to see uncertainty in the marketplace coming into 2021. So that's why I believe that sometime during the course of the year, during at least the summer, I'm predicting possibly the summer, the late summer, maybe early fall, we could see silver reach as high as $38 to $40 an ounce. And I know that's still somewhat of a range, but I'm predicting kind of the higher end of the 30s. I don't want to give an exact number, but that's kind of where I'm guessing silver is going to be by late summer or early fall, heading out. Just because I'm seeing some moves, and we've seen moves even towards the end of last year and early this year, where silver has jumped up, 70 cents at a time, dollar at a time. And, as of the recording of this video, it's just over $27 an ounce. And so I'm obviously bullish, thinking it's going to climb up a whole 10 plus more dollars. That's actually a fairly bold prediction. But I say that somewhat out on a limb, because I usually don't have that quite of a bullish position. Doesn't mean that silver will stay at that level, but I believe it could peak at that level. And by the end of the year, the average for the year is, I think that silver will probably average at around the low 30s, maybe below 35, but above 31. And I could be wrong about that too. There's very few in the community that think silver actually may fall this year. And they could be very well right. And they have just as many good reasons for that being the case as I do. It's rarely that I kind of go along with the trend of where the markets are going to go. I tend to kind of push back against some of that. But I find myself right in line with most analysts and out there in the marketplace, and that typically isn't my thinking, because a lot of them do have an agenda. Some of them are dealers and they want to sell silver and the like, and I don't want to fall into that trap or what have you. But I am putting myself out there a little bit to make that prediction that I think that silver will reach that upper 30s sometime this year, potentially by summer or early fall. So let me know what your thoughts are. If anything, this is more for fun, just seeing where it's going to go. I don't want anybody to make any decisions based off of my predictions or anybody else's predictions. I don't care how well informed they are. You should never buy anything based off what some guru says that the price of silver should be or could be or is or will be. You base your decisions on the knowledge that you research on your own, and understanding the history of silver, and that's how you should base your predictions, not anything I say or anybody else says. And you'll do much better doing that. I do these predictions just for fun, nothing else. So there you have it. Post your thoughts on where you think the price of silver will be. There's two things I want you to post in the comment section below, is where the peak silver should be and by what month of the year or time of the year, and also where you think the average, what it will average out to be in 2021. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to all of you for taking the time to watch this video, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and finally, after all of that rigmarole, if you haven't already, subscribe.